You've probably heard the promise, we can close in as little as 7 days. But what does that actually mean? How fast can you really sell a house for cash? And what happens in between the offer and the closing table? In this video, I'm going to walk you through the cash sale timeline, step by step, so you know what to expect and what might slow things down. I'm Jeremy Schooler, your rebel real estate guy. I'm the founder of Kitsap Home Pro, a company that's built different and built on purpose so that we can help real people navigate what I call the common real estate problem. We don't box you into one option. We help you understand the options, and we help you create a customized solution using those options for a hard to sell home or property. If you're selling a house to a buyer like Kitsap Home Pro who says we can close fast, there are some things you need to understand about that. These kind of fall into two categories. One's getting into contract or the agreement, and then the process of selling a home. So let's talk about the first one, getting into contract. That's the house evaluation and offer and your acceptance. It's not like someone just blindly says, here's a huge cash offer on your home, and you can just move quickly and everything just goes without ever doing any work. We don't do that blindly. Two, the things that need to happen in order to sell your home. All the stuff from the time of signing an agreement to actually finishing or closing the sale. These are all the legal requirements and processes that must happen. For instance, a title search needs to happen. Are there any existing liens or debts against the property? Those will need to be tracked down and paid off as part of the sale. Sometimes that can cause a slowdown. This will apply to anyone. It's why, if we're hoping to sell a house quickly, we need to get to work very quickly. Let's run through the main points on the timeline to sell your home. Step one, getting the offer. The very first step is pretty simple. A potential buyer evaluates your home. Let's say that's me. I'll walk you through how I do that. I'll look at the condition, the location, and the current market. I'd like to do a quick walkthrough, but if absolutely necessary, I can make an offer based on photos or public records. Once that evaluation process is done, you'll get a cash offer. This can be very quick. I can do from the time you first contact me till the time we have an offer. I've done it in as little as 24 hours. Much faster than waiting weeks for a traditional buyer's financing approval or for them to come look at it, make an offer, and all of that process. Step two is going to be signing the agreement. If you like the offer, the next step is signing a purchase and sale agreement. This lays out the agreed price, any contingencies, and the closing date, and all the details of the sale process, the contract we have between each other. With cash sales, there aren't usually very many or no contingencies at all. No appraisal or financing approval, or that stuff's not normal in a quick cash sale, especially working with someone like me. This step often takes just a day or two. Once it's all signed, the clock to closing officially starts at that point. Step number three is it has to go to title and escrow. We'll call this the title and escrow work. This is where most of the time is going to be spent. We get that signed agreement over to title and escrow, we give it to them, we open escrow with them. They'll do what's called a title search. They're going to check for liens, unpaid taxes, or any ownership issues, anything in the history of this property. Once they have that, usually it's just a couple of days, they'll find out what it takes or what it will take to get any of these things all taken care of. If it's an existing mortgage on the home, for instance, they'll request a payoff amount from the mortgage company. They're not going to work through you. They'll get the information from you maybe, but they're going to reach out directly to the mortgage company and get a payoff from them. If it's existing liens, they'll find out what it will take to get those settled as well. Kind of the same thing. Now, you need to understand this. This is where much of the time hangups happen. Mortgage companies are notoriously slow with this part. Worse is if there's other existing liens. But we have to get them. We have to get them to respond to us with a payoff amount so that everything can get covered when the house sale closes. That house sale cannot close without settling those types of items or any other legal encumbrances. So any of that stuff that comes up, the title company is going to reach out to those other places, the mortgage company, whoever else might have a lien, some other weird legal encumbrance, whatever it is. They're going to reach out to those places and figure out exactly what it's going to take to get all that stuff settled at the time of closing. So they have to do that work before we can go to closing. So I need you to understand that part. This is a super important piece. A lot of people get hung up here, or maybe didn't even know there was something existing out there. We'll find all of that out once title company is able to complete their title search and then start getting into that work. Once they have all of that information, the title company will prepare the paperwork and coordinates all the money transfers. They're the ones that are going to handle money transfers. I'm not actually going to walk over to you with a check and hand you a check. We use a third party because they're the ones that are going to make sure that all these pieces get handled and make sure that the money gets to you properly. Once everything is organized and accounted for, the title company will arrange the signing of those final documents. They'll pay off any related debts and they'll transfer funds to your account. If everything is clean, this step can be wrapped up in a week. I've done it that fast. If there are problems like an old lien that needs clearing or something else, it can stretch out sometimes. That's why having your documents ready, like we talked about in episode 1, can make such a huge difference because that helps just move this piece along. Okay, step number 4 on the timeline. Closing day. Finally, we've got everything put together and it's time to close. You'll sign final paperwork. Escrows transfers money from me, the buyer, or whoever your buyer is, to you, and the sale records with the county. That's it. We're done. Once that's done, the home officially changes hands, legally changes hands, and you walk away with cash in your account. Side note, flexibility in cash sales. I want to talk just a little bit about this as kind of a side note. One of the underrated perks of a cash sale is the flexibility. If you need to close fast, some buyers can do it in a week. If you need more time to move, we can talk about how to extend closing or let you rent back for a short time after the sale. We can work with all of that. There's flexibility here. With traditional sales, you're often locked into a buyer's loan timeline. With a buyer like Kitsap Home Pro, you have more control over when you hand over the keys to your property. Let me tell you a little bit about the difference of working with somebody like Kitsap Home Pro. This is how I work with sellers. Every time that I make an offer, I'll walk you through it. No pressure, no tricks. I want to explain to you how I got there. I want to show you my numbers, and I want to let you decide on what makes sense for you and your situation. And if I don't think that offer makes sense for you, I'm going to tell you so. I often recommend taking a different route, actually. Working with me is not the only option, and depending on your situation, there might be a better option, or I might not be the best option. I'll share my opinion of what's best for you and your needs. So how long does a cash sale take? It really kind of depends on a handful of variables like we've talked about. Most close in 1 to 3 weeks. That's much faster than the typical 45 to 60 days it takes with a traditional buyer. But remember, title issues, missing paperwork, or liens can still slow things down. Cash sales can be fast, but they're not magic. Now I want to throw something else out here. We always talk about fast, but I've had buyers who actually didn't need fast. We signed a contract and they just wanted to make sure that the sale of the house part was covered when they made the transition that they were looking forward to making. So we got in contract like 3 months before they wanted to close. That's okay, we can work with that. I'll move on. The good news is you often get to set the pace. If you need fast, you can. If you need time, you can negotiate that too. In the next and last episode, we'll wrap up the series by talking about some common pitfalls in cash sales and how to avoid the mistakes that can cost you time and money. And if you're in Western Washington and you're considering a cash sale, feel free to reach out. At Kitsap Home Pro, we'll walk you right through your options. No pressure, just some clarity. And lastly, as always, if you found this video helpful, could you help me out by hitting that like and that subscribe button? I really do appreciate it. Okay.